Oh, welcome to a new Diablo 4 Cow King video. So, I've got today Kyle. Kyle is an old classic Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 player, and we're going to do a quick demo of Diablo 4. How you doing, Kyle?
Doing okay. Excited to see this. I've seen a little bits and pieces and heard about some of the recent drama with the was it aspects and the barbarians. Saw a little bit of that, but as I looked at it, since I'm not playing D4, it didn't have much context for me. But so excited to see this.
Yeah, well, I'll show
But
you what an aspect is real quick. But there's way too much to cover in the amount of time we have. So this is going to be the quickest, fastest overview. This is not going to be an in-depth build guide. My build is still in the works. But I am playing an Ice Shard Sorceress. Here she is. She's Zoe. Everybody, welcome Zoe. This is her current outfit. You can change her outfits, which is really cool. And so we're just going to go ahead and get started here. You can see I'm set on World Tier 2. Currently, I have Tier 1, 2, and 3 unlocked. So we're going to go ahead and try this on Veteran here for now, because I'm only level 52, and I just unlocked Nightmare yesterday. I'll tell you what, that the curator was one heck of a challenge. I died at least 5 times doing that. It's different. You don't do the whole story again.
yeah,
You just continue with getting renown and doing the dungeons you haven't done, but getting better rewards. Okay, so here's our map, and you can see I've unlocked a lot of it, most of it. We've got 5 different act areas on this giant map. And when you see how little it is when I move around, it's
right.
really crazy. So one of the cool things about this game is you can kind of just go anywhere and do anything. Like once you get to this first town, you can kind of just go in any direction and just play. And it's neat because it kind of syncs up to your level the whole game. So
Yeah,
if I go out and just walk around, we're gonna get on a happy horse here. If I go out and just walk around, the monsters are going to be like level 50, 51, 52, whatever. They're going to be in my level range. So I'm going to be able to, get some experience and whatever, no matter what level I'm at. So I'm on my happy mount here, and you can do a speed burst. That's always fun. Seems like everyone's dead for a while here. That's normal.
I need more time.
Okay, fussy. There's some. Yep, wrong direction.
I'm not ready yet.
So I'm pretty much just straight cold.
yeah.
I need time to prepare.
And let's just go and do a cellar here real quick, because there's one right there. That's a fun move right there, the deep freeze. I kind of just wasted it right there, but that's my ultimate move here. And that little thing is right in the way of my map. Oh. Yeah, I just gotta go around this little bend here. Oh, I gotta kill them first, so won't let me go in yet. Oh, that was wasted. Was it? Okay. So, this is just a really small little, tiny little cellar, they're called. Zombies. Lots of them. Hey, that was pretty quick, huh?
Yeah.
Yay! 3 grave dust. Okay, cool. So that was a cellar. And they're not always that fast. But when I'm able to freeze them, I can do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Alright, so since we don't have a whole lot of time, do you have any questions? Is there anything you want to see here before I go and tell you a little bit about the build?
Actually, this is the most of V4 that I've seen so far. It's pretty cool. It does seem a lot like Diablo 3 in some ways. Like the way the cellars are set up. I really like that open world system. That seems pretty cool.
Yeah, I gather it is probably kind of Diablo 3-ish, but it's also got that modern quest-based role-playing game thing, open world, you know, that everybody's doing with the side missions. And so renown is really important. So your renown in each of the 5 areas is how you can unlock extra rewards for your whole account. So the first reward gives you a skill point. Second reward gives you a potion capacity, which is really important. The third one gives you another skill point. Then the fourth one gives you obols, which is a gambling currency. And then the fifth unlock gives you extra paragon points. All these are incredibly important. And so you can do this in each of the towns. So you can get 10 extra skill points and 20 extra paragon points. All right, so the skills go from level 1 to level 50. And then after level 50, you start building the Paragon board. And so the only way to get extra skills is to do those unlocks I was just talking about if you didn't already. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah. So here's the character layout. All right? It's not that different from the other Diablo games, right? Right. So I've got my helmet. All right?
Looks just like Diablo 3.
Okay, cool. So I've got my helmet. And the cool thing about it here is the star. You can see down towards the bottom of the text it says imprinted. Taking direct damage has a 4% chance to reset the cooldown of one of your defensive skills. My favorite one is Frost Nova. Okay, so there we go. We've got that is an aspect. The star, imprinted ability, is an aspect. You can actually remove that and then put it into a different rare item to create a new legendary item. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that star thing is like a thing in and of itself. You can destroy the helm to salvage it. Okay, so here's my armor. It has another aspect on it. It's another legendary. Now, a lot of these were imprinted. They didn't come that way. See what I'm saying? So it says right there, imprinted. Frozen orb stays in place after reaching its destination and it explodes 2 additional times for 27% of its damage. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So that's all. Most of these things are legendary. The one thing that I don't have either legendary or imprinted is my boots. I don't have an aspect that is compatible with my boots right now, so I just don't have that. But you can see the little stars, the little things under the item. Those are upgrades. So I upgraded the item with like gold and crafting materials. Okay, so here I got a wand. This says ice shards pierce. That's incredibly important, right? Just like the Boazon needed to pierce. Ice shards is my main attack that was obliterating everything once it was frozen. And I'll explain that more in a second. Here's my orb. It's like a focus kind of thing. Gives me more DPS. And then I have a ring and a ring and an amulet. And it's not about what aspects are all imprinted here, but you can see these two right here are the same. I have, I guess only one of them is in effect, see, because that's the big one. So I'm going to have to put a different one on here. That's pretty quick and easy. The one gives 45% extra damage to stunned or frozen or immobilized enemies. And the thing I can do is frozen. I'm big on frozen. This is my only unique item here. It's pretty cool. I can put it on. It's a unique ring. Okay, here. I'll put this one on and this one on. There we go. See, now I have all active aspects. I don't have an inactive one. Okay, so That's my first unique item. I got the unique item from defeating Lilith on World Tier 1. That was just, of course, not the super hard Lilith. You know, there's the baby Lilith that allowed me to unlock the dungeon that allowed me to unlock World Tier 3 Nightmare. So I'll just give you a real quick skill tree, just so you can see what it looks like. I'm on the Paragon board right now. Let's go to skill tree. Okay, so you start here. These are your basic skills. They deal damage, they're always able to cast, and a lot of times it'll help you regain your resource or mana or energy or whatever it's called. Okay, so I chose Frostbolt, and I didn't sink very heavily into it because I'm not really using it to do so much damage as I'm using it to chill the enemy, and I'm using it to generate mana. Okay, so when I'll use the Frostbolt in combination with Blizzard to generate mana when I'm running low on mana. Now my main spell that I use the most is Ice Shards, and I have that one maxed out at 5 out of 5, and it's enhanced here to make the enemies vulnerable. That it's like sort of like amplify damage. It gives you extra damage. And then I also have a point in Frozen Orb, but I'm not having it on my controller. I'm using Frozen Orb as what's called an enchantment, and that's a sorceress thing. So if I scroll down here, you can see enchantment effect. Whenever you cast a non-basic skill, which is basically anything other than that Frostbolt, you have a 20% chance to launch a Frozen Orb at a nearby enemy. So Frozen Orbs will just come out of me. It's cool.
Yeah.
Then I've got one hard point in Ice Armor, and I use that to create a barrier so I can stay alive. It's an extra defensive skill, and I can freeze enemies possibly with it. Also, Frost Nova. This is the one where it freezes everything around me for 3 seconds, and that's really the whole point. It has a large cooldown, so I did everything I could so far to bring it down. It's still 17 seconds. But whenever I get a critical strike, I can bring it down by 20%, or like 2 point something seconds. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then Shimmering Frost Nova, every time I hit an enemy, I get 4 mana. So that's pretty cool. Or I could also switch this one here to make enemies vulnerable. And that actually I might be switching that. One of the beautiful things about this game is if you want to switch it, it just costs gold. You can just, here, I think I'm going to change that. I'm going to try that one. That cost me 2,381 gold. Big deal, right?
Yeah,
I have 5,233,000 gold. So spending 2,000 was like, if I gave you $1.
Yeah.
So I'm not using my conjuration skill because I need the slot on my controller so that I can have both of these. If that makes sense. So I'm just not using this, and I didn't put any points here. Then I've got my mastery skill, which is Blizzard, and I didn't really invest too highly in it either because I wanted to get that frost armor. But this passive here, Snap Freeze, I put everything into that to give a chance to freeze enemies on a lucky hit. Okay, and then down here, this is the ultimate skills. So that's my Deep Freeze, and then I got its enhancements to gain life when it ends, and then also it reduces my other cooldowns. So that's pretty cool. And then all of these ones, I got all of these ones except this one has an extra bonus. These are all passives that increase cold and cold damage and make them vulnerable and all that kind of stuff. Deal extra damage to elites, deal extra damage to chilled enemies, and more damage to frozen enemies. And then you only get one of the key passives. And there's 2 cold ones here. Avalanche, which is all about your lucky hit. And then there's Shatter. And then this is at the end of a freeze. I'm actually thinking about switching this one over. Because I have an aspect that I can get 2 avalanches. I don't know, but I'm not going to switch it right now. So anyway, that's the skill tree. And this, like I said, this build is far from finished. I can just, anytime I want, just take one off and put it somewhere else and see how I like it. or
Yeah.
move a whole thing around. I can unget a skill. I could be like, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of ice armor, and instead I'm gonna beef up my frozen orb. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. It's pretty cool. So that's the skill tree. Now the Paragon board I'm very new to, and this is a whole nother thing. So you start here, and every quarter of a level you get to unlock one node. But like I've been told that you're supposed to try to get somewhere. Every once in a while, you'll find a rare node, which 10% damage is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Um, a magic node is also pretty good. But then, like here, you can go off onto another board that you can't see,
Hmm.
and then another board that you can't see, and then another board, in all like multiple
Right.
directions. Like it'll snake around. So you get 4 points per level. So that seems like a lot. You're like, oh yeah, I'll get them all. But like, no, you're supposed to like try to get somewhere. So I wanted this rare node because it gives damage rather than this one, which gives resistance. In this game, resistances are broken. They don't work. They don't do anything.
Ah,
Like very, very, very minimal effect I'm seeing from my resistances. Whereas in Diablo 2, it was a marked, noticeable, like the resistances, they worked. So that's
yeah.
why I'm not going for the resistance. That's why I'm snaking back around. I'm going for damage. So then I'm going to go on to the next one. So I'm pretty much just like going like this. Now this here is a glyph slot, and I'm probably going to put one here, but my glyphs kind of stink. But I mean, you can also switch it at any point, just anytime you can switch these. So if I wanted to undo this intelligence right here, I can just undo it. Let's say, okay, now I want to put a glyph in. So I'm going to put a glyph in, and then I go here. I go here, and I can look at the glyphs. So the radius size is 2. That's how far you're going to count from that point. For every willpower purchased, you get plus 1.1 increased damage to crowd controlled targets. So if you look around, I don't have any willpower unlocked right now. The one that
Yeah.
dexterity, I don't have any. I think I have one dexterity unlocked. Um, there's another dexterity, and then this one was the intelligence one. I do have one intelligence unlocked, and I had unlocked that other one. I'll probably have at least two, but that just gives just straight just damage. So 0.5% increased damage. I think I'll switch to that. Let's go ahead and put this glyph um, into this slot here. Okay? So now for every intelligence that's unlocked within this radius, which is so far is 1, I get 0.5% extra damage.
Hmm.
What do you think?
That's cool. I
Whatever.
like the addition of the Paragon board, and um, like myself and a lot of players did not like about Diablo 3 is no matter which character you had, you could unlock all skills at the, it's like, oh, the skill is unlocked. There's not really like this leveling thing. Leveling just increases your character ability, not really your skills. It lets you have more skills available. And I always like the idea of old school Diablo 2 where you were locked in. Like, I'm gonna do a fire sork, or I'm gonna do a boazon or whatever. And you spent time building up that one particular build. And then they added things where you could change stuff. What's really interesting, seeing the skill tree when Diablo 3 came out, people liked it, and then they're like, this is missing something. And the team that developed Diablo 2 had this other game, Path of Exile, whose skill tree looks a whole lot like what there is in Diablo 4. And I did a quick Google search to see if other people notice. And of course, there's a lot of people. It's like, so D4 kind of ripped off part of Path of Exile. But I do like how how D4 is different than Path of Exile is it's like you unlock a group, and within that group there's some synergy aspects, and that seems pretty neat. And I like that you can switch, and it's not like a big cost to switch, but it's like it does cost a little something, even though, like you point out, it's kind of insignificant, a couple, few thousand gold when you have a million, it's not a huge deal.
Yeah, it
But
gets a little more as you level, but like, I mean,
yeah,
because they're figuring by the time you get to a high level, you pretty much should have your build pretty much figured out. So I've spent all 58 skill points that I'm gonna get that I know of.
yeah,
And there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that it might have been interesting to get, and so I can always change it around. That's the best thing. Like this one
right,
here, while you have a barrier active, you apply more chill, right? Or barriers having more increased duration. That's a good thing, right? So I don't know, but then this is what gives me a barrier. But then also the other thing on my gear does too. So as you change your gear and you put different aspects and stop using them or whatever, you change around your build in that way. That
yeah,
encourages you to change around your skill tree and possibly even your Paragon board. You see
right,
what I'm saying? So it's got a nice link to it, and I'm just now beginning to start the end game. Like I said, I just unlocked Nightmare difficulty yesterday, and so when I went to Nightmare, I was like instantly dying. So I'm like, okay, let me just level just a little tiny, tiny, tiny bit more, and then I'm gonna start doing more. But I started getting some more renown in Act One,
yeah.
and uh, working towards getting some more rewards for the account, and that's always fun. The gambling is really fun. So the maximum gambling is a good reward. Of course, the
It,
Paragon points is incredibly good reward.
yeah. Is there still a hell mode after? Because I saw there's something after Nightmare.
There's Torment, but
Yeah.
then there's rumored to be a Hell mode coming.
Okay.
So, let's just do a quick sample of Nightmare. What do you say?
Okay.
It's basically the same thing, but everything's
Yeah.
going to be quite a bit harder. And the monsters are not dumb. They actually will be attacking me. Whereas on tier mode 1, they're a lot of times they're playing dumb, I guess you could say.
Yeah. The, do you start off with a horse or do you have to
No,
get
no. No, you have to do 4 acts of this, or the first 3 acts of the story. And then at the beginning of Act 4 you can get it, finally.
it? Ah,
It's quite a challenge
I
to
need
get.
time to prepare.
Oh,
that.
bull. See, these are just regular pack monsters and I'm potioning.
yeah.
Okay, everybody, like I said, this is just a work in progress. It's not the greatest build, but I'm having fun, and that's what matters,
yeah.
right? I mean, I'm surviving so far. It's only been a
I
minute.
need time to prepare.
I like the corridor. That's helpful for me.
Yeah.
Ice shards.
I lack the needed mana.
Okay, so you can just like kind of climb and stuff,
Yeah.
little footsteps. That was fun. Oh, okay.
I'm not ready yet.
I'll do that. We'll fight that. That's my favorite thing. Just get in the center, Frost Nova, turn them all to ice, ice shards. They die. The problem is the Frost Nova has a cooldown. So I have to find other ways to freeze them while it's cooling down.
I'm out of mana.
Let's see. Is there anything? That's dungeon's gonna be too long. Let's see.
Do they have mercenaries or anything?
Well, you'll get a companion from time to time,
Gotcha.
but yeah. I don't know. Like this isn't really showing that Nightmare to be so hard. I had a rough time yesterday a little bit, but
Yeah.
I did find a really cool amulet that I was able
I'm
to
not ready
imbue
yet.
and all that. I don't like the cooldown on the horse. I think that's dumb. But they're just kind of cooldown happy in this game.
Yeah. Yeah. Diablo 3 was like that.
Oh, there's one. Okay, we'll just do that real quick. We'll do a cellar because I did a cellar on the tier 2. We'll do cellar and
I'm
then
out of mana.
you just kind of talk. Ah! I died. Ah! See,
Yeah.
I was frozen or something, and the little. Ah, yeah. Okay. So there you go.
So do you respawn near where you died or
Pretty close.
okay.
Yeah.
And that weathered tunic? Oh, okay, there it is.
Yeah. I was stunned and I couldn't potion.
Yeah.
I have 9 potions. Start with 4. I unlock 5 extra potions. That's pretty cool. All right, so we'll do this, and then we'll just have a little bit of closing discussion for a couple minutes, and then I guess you gotta go and do stuff in the real world.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, not me. I don't have. All right, here we go.
My friends were cut down. I won't last on my own.
No, not against all that, will ya? I like how you can have multiple blizzards.
Yeah.
I can't take anymore.
Oh, that was a waste of a frost nova.
I'm out of mana.
Uh-oh.
I need time to prepare.
Whoa.
Out of mana once again.
Once again. Active mana. Once again. Well, I completed it. I didn't die.
Yeah.
Ooh, look, I got Heavy Boots Sacred. So this will give a nice thing to talk about real quick as we're ending up this conversation. So sacred items unlock in Nightmare, and that's like, the way for you to get a little bit of a boost. It's about somewhere around plus 100 item level from the regular items I was getting. So looking here, sacred rare boots. Well, I was just saying, my boots were the only thing I had that weren't imbued.
Right.
That's not the best roll ever, but you can actually extract things and randomize what you get. Like, say if I wanted to get rid of the poison resistance, I could try to get a different random thing, and it costs a lot of gold. Especially if you do it over and over. The first time I think is a lot cheaper, and then it goes into the millions pretty quick. But that might become a future legendary item. It might not. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see if I find something better.
Damage reduction seems like that could be nice.
Yeah, especially while injured. So yeah, when you're already hurt pretty bad.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And so anyway, there we go. There was a little cool sample of Diablo 4. What do you think?
Yeah, it's funny, like I mentioned Path of Exile, and thinking back, sometimes I get Diablo 3 and Path of Exile kind of mixed up in my head, except for that skill tree thing. Like I'll think like seeing you go in the cellars, I'm like, wait, was that D3 that had cellars kind of like that, or was that something else? So it's kind of funny, because it's been a few minutes since I played, either of those games. But yeah, it looks cool. I really like how they set up the skill tree and the Paragon board. That seems like that would keep you playing, and how you mentioned, because that was a big problem with Diablo 3. Once you hit max level, there was really no reason to keep playing that particular character, because it was like, okay, I guess I'll try to get something. And Diablo 3 had a horrible drop system. And then
Mhm.
they added some sort of paragon, like after you get like level 60, there's like 100 paragon levels, but they just gave you like character stats or something. It may have changed after I quit playing it. So it's cool to see on here like a more elaborate skill system, and things where you had to make some interesting choices, because that always makes a game more beloved, when you have to make a hard choice, or it's like, is this thing better than that? And then give it a try, and see how it goes.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. A lot of that. I
Yeah.
I think I really love this game. My question is, will I still love it in 5 years? And I think it matters how they treat it, what the
Right.
expansions are like, what the seasons are like, how are they gonna give us runes, or like are we gonna actually have a use for base and magic items? Because really, once you get rare items from then on, I mean, I haven't seen one basic or magic item that's been worth even considering equipping.
Yeah.
In fact, I've just mainly been leaving them on the ground after a while. But anyway, I think it's a lot of fun. I'm the jury's still out on how it compares to Diablo 2. It's obviously newer, better, bigger, and it has a lot more to it. However, Diablo 2, I'm still playing 20 years later, so we'll
Right.
see. We'll see if that happens or not. I'm in no way trying to compare them directly, because they're just two totally different animals, and
Right.
I honestly love them both, and I hope I continue to love them both. And I think that's where we're at with that. So, this channel's not supported by Blizzard in any way. We're tiny, so make sure you like and share and subscribe, because we're just doing this just for fun, just for the love of it, and just because we love the game. I want to make sure that everybody knows that you can cross-platform play on this. That's huge. So, like, you can play on your Xbox or your PlayStation, and you can play with me on my PC here. It's so awesome that they have integrated that, the
Yeah.
cross-platform playing.
I think you can play on the Switch too, which
Yeah, it's on
was
the Switch too.
yeah,
Yep.
which is interesting. Yeah.
I say it's a must check it out. But, at least you got a nice demo of it. And everybody, thank you for tuning in to the Cow King. Make sure you leave your comments in the comments section. Thank you.